What's up, you guys? So I am here today. I have a special guest with me. I have blogger Grace Report. Y'all might recognize her from YouTube, and we're here to spill some hot tea today. And I'm gonna tell you, y'all might need y'all might need a shot for this conversation because we're really about to get into it. And the word on the curb, according to the Velvet Rope podcast, I do my comment creeping, and in the Velvet Rope podcast, in the comments under his Instagram, he has posted that he's 99% sure that Robyn Dixon has been let go from the Real Housewives of Potomac. All right, so I have Grace Report. I had to find you, girl.
Oh man, I'm 1,000% here for it, Lailah. Robyn to me has never really contributed that much storyline wise to Housewives of Potomac. Like her first couple of seasons, she was that person that triggered Ashley and how much Ashley wanted her mom to leave her own dead end relationship, and that was interesting. But then after season 3 or something, I was kind of like, why is this girl still here? She's got nothing going on.
That's deep. But first, let me tell the people who you are. And I want to get into what you just said. So Grace Report is a blogger, YouTube blogger. She covers teen mom. What else? You want to tell the people what else you cover? Because I feel like it's a lot.
Sure. So my flagship content is Teen Mom, but I also cover news from other reality worlds. So I cover different housewife stories. I cover a little bit of 90 Day Fiance and just general pop culture news as well that I feel like my audience might enjoy.
Yes. And we love Grace, and we definitely do enjoy it. And so what was said on the Behind the Velvet Rope podcast on the Instagram, I want to get into the Instagram comments. Like I said, I've been comment creeping, and this was what was put in the comments. I'm going to read it to you. Hopefully you guys can see it. I tried to blow it up for you, but this is what it says. Under the interview with Wendy, someone made a comment about they enjoyed the interview, and then Behind the Velvet Rope commented, LOL, I love talking to Wendy. Also, I think so too. I think she's going to be around for a long while. I think get this, Giselle without Robyn will be so interesting too. Giselle without Robyn. And so the person replied, I've been studying all day. Robyn's gone. Missed that one. And Behind the Velvet Rope responded, studying is good. Well, that's what our sources say, but we're still trying to confirm it. I'm not sure it's 100% confirmed, but I think it's 99% confirmed. So this is allegedly, this is a RHOP rumor. This is not 100% confirmed, but it is allegedly 99% confirmed. And so then the person said, now that's juicy AF. Karen now has no allies, and now Giselle may be down to one ally, Candace. And Behind the Velvet Rope responded, yes, like Giselle without Robyn. All of a sudden, we're so interested on what that will look like based on how the reunion ended. Hence, it's a great casting decision. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Best gifts.
What did Robyn do to lose her champagne glass? What do you think? How do you think this happened?
I think it just comes down to her not having that much to offer us. She's been kind of bleeding the stone dry when it comes to her relationship with Juan, and then Juan finally proposed. I think even Andy knows they're not really going to get married. He asked her, will you ever get married? And she said, I don't know, Andy, before they rolled the tape about the proposal. And I feel like it's kind of what else? She tried to flip houses for a bit. She kind of quit that. She didn't do that great at it. Then she's got the Walmart caps with silk inside of them. That's not going to last that long. What else can she? Oh my God, Lailah. Oh my God.
I preloaded the gifts.
That's what I love about your channel. It is GIF heaven. You've got one for everything. So that's literally it. There's nothing else for Robyn to offer us. We're tired of her relationship. We're tired of her townhouse. We're tired. Do you like her? Do you think she's got more to offer us?
I think she could, but it's been 5 seasons, right? And so Robyn has followed this pattern that I feel is detrimental. I feel it's detrimental to play the Robyn to somebody's Batman. And Robyn has done that to Giselle. I feel like Robyn hasn't stood on her own. She's kind of attached herself to Giselle. And that's not good. When it comes to being a housewife, the reason you're there is because you're an outspoken woman. Like, you stand on your own. That's how they cast the show. They want outspoken women that stand on their own, regardless of, who they're married to. Like, they're married to a rich man, but they still stand on their own. And I feel like Robyn, because of their situation in the past, she's not necessarily married to a rich man. They're not necessarily as wealthy as other housewives. And then she also doesn't stand on her own. Like, playing the Batman to somebody is not going to get it. No. It's not going to get it.
Not at all. And like you said, like, where else do you move on with that? Like, I don't know. You can't.
So you hope this is true.
I hope and pray it's true. We were talking about this a little bit earlier before going live, but I didn't want to watch the next season of the show now that Monique is gone, because I feel like there's no lifestyle porn or rich actual, you know what I mean? Like, Potomac housewife, and just the way that they treated her and the gaslighting and just going after a child and stuff rubbed me the wrong way, that I didn't want to keep supporting, even though I love Karen. But if they got rid of Robyn and then like kind of opened it up to like a new person to like create new dynamics and stuff, I would be willing to give the Housewives of Potomac another shot to see what they do. And I would love them to be someone to go up against Giselle. Like, Giselle's kind of like, a table with 4 legs. Monique and her binder just knocked out like at least 1 or 2. And so we just need to knock out the other few legs. And I think a new person can do that. They need to cast a new person to do that.
So for a blogger, like, as bloggers, we make money off the show. Let's just be honest. And so for a blogger to say that, like you said, you weren't interested in watching the show next season, that's a big deal. For you to say you weren't interested in watching the show and you covered the show, that's a really big deal. But yeah, I do hope they can bring in some new blood. I really didn't expect this because of the fact that Andy has said that he thought the cast was perfect. I really didn't expect us to be having these casting conversations regarding Real Housewives of Potomac for the next season, because Andy said the cast was perfect. But it looks like it's headed in that direction because Monique has left, and now allegedly Robyn's contract was not extended.
Which is so crazy to me. I feel like Andy was blindsided by the Monique thing. Like, if Robyn's contract is not going to be extended, or sorry, I shouldn't even say Andy, because apparently he doesn't even make these decisions. Right. But like, whoever's doing the casting was probably just counting on getting rid of Robyn and maybe bringing Monique some sort of an ally. But now with the 2 of them gone, how do you continue to balance all the different personalities and alliances, right?
Right. And the person kind of mentioned that in the comments. They mentioned now, with if Robyn's gone, Giselle doesn't really have an ally. And then Karen is kind of like standing alone. Like, Karen doesn't really have an ally. So they need to bring, I love Karen. So I feel like they need to bring on someone that kind of aligns themselves with Karen. Like, they do need to create that balance. Somebody that aligns themselves with Karen. I don't want to see Giselle with another ally because she's had that for 5 seasons. Candace has an ally in Wendy. So I don't know if Ashley needs an ally, but it seems like they need 2 new people.
See, that's the thing. Like, when it comes to Ashley, I feel like she does such a good job at standing on her own that she's good. But Karen would need one, because Karen tries so hard to be like the Switzerland for everyone, to kind of like weave everybody together. So I see them leaning more towards her. But do they want another woman in Karen's age group? I love her the most, honestly, even more than Monique, as much as I love Monique. But I feel like a lot of these Bravo shows are trying to skew a little bit younger, even their beloved Housewives of New York City. So I don't know that they would do that. Would it be another person for Karen to mentor, like she tried to do with Candace and Ashley? Maybe.
I would be open to that. But I want to talk about, when I was on your show, you mentioned, the show villain and the real villain.
Yes.
And so Karen has presented herself as neutral on this show, like you said, as Switzerland. But if you think about it, just think about it.
Okay.
When Monique said that the situation was brought to her that they were plotting against her, it seems like it might have been, because she said Karen is the one that told her they were plotting against her. And it seems like Karen might have been the one that hyped Monique up and made it seem like it was this big plot, against you and your child, like against your family. And so that's why when the physical altercation happened between Candace and Monique, it seems like maybe that's why Karen kind of had to, even though she said she was neutral, you see she leaned a little bit towards Monique. It's kind of like maybe she had to, because she's the one that hyped Monique up and made her really feel like this was a plot against her, because the reason she would have hyped Monique up is because Karen doesn't care for Giselle and Robyn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I actually really like this perspective. I never thought about it. My question is then, are you saying that you believe that all the girls were at the dinner or whatever after Andy's baby shower and just talking about the rumors, not about bringing it to the show? And then Karen made Monique believe that they would bring it to the show?
I think it was a casual conversation. And Robyn has, even in the text messages I showed between Candace and Robyn has said she doesn't even remember the conversation. And so if Robyn doesn't remember it, that makes me feel like it was a casual conversation. And I do think it's possible that Karen hyped Monique up when she brought it to her, just because of even if people are talking about it casually, it's still somebody's family. Like, it's still somebody's child. It's still somebody's husband. So I feel like even if the conversation was casual among people like Giselle, who casually do stuff like that to people, for Karen, I feel like it might have triggered Karen, and she brought it to Monique in a way like, girl, they are talking about your child. Like, she might have hyped Monique up.
But if they were talking about her child, they were talking about her child, and maybe it's not like shady of her to have brought it up, because
I don't think it's shady. I don't think it's shady, but I just think it's possible that she hyped Monique up.
Yeah. I can get it, but at the same time, just seeing how viciously jealous Giselle has been of Monique in her life, I feel like Karen, knowing Giselle for 10 plus years and how messy and bitter of a woman she can be, probably knew that it was going to get really you again.
I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
She knew. Like, we all have that one friend where it's like, if we're shooting a show, and I've got this one friend who's like messy or whatever, and I had another friend who, like, you know, I knew that their baby would be involved in something on television. I would feel like hell if I didn't bring it up to them, knowing that this other person is so messy and so viciously against them that they would bring it up in a really negative way. I feel like Karen knew that Giselle would bring it up in a negative way, and Giselle did wind up bringing it in a negative way anyway. It's not like it never made it to the show.
Right. And that's what kind of, because, you know, I'm like a nonviolence person. So, you know, I've kind of seen things from Candace's point of view. But once I saw that Giselle actually did bring it to the show, it was like, okay, so they are gaslighting Monique. When they're telling Monique this didn't come to the show, you know, you and your husband brought it up. And then it's like, if you rewind, it's like no, Candace brought it to social media and Giselle did bring it to the show.
Exactly. Her excuse was such BS where she goes, Chris brought it up when he asked who he looked like. Parents do that all the time when they have kids. Like, does he look like me or does he look like his dad? Right? I feel like that's what he meant between him and Monique. And then for Giselle to use that like as her like get out of jail free card.
Yes. That was sad. Girl, I feel sorry for Giselle. But yeah, Chris brought it. He didn't bring up the trainer. He was checking Giselle when he was like, who does the baby look like? He looked like me, don't he?
Yeah.
And Giselle kind of got excited, like, who would he look like? Who would he look like? Trying to bring in the trainer. And Chris said his daddy. You know what I'm saying? So Chris was kind of shutting her down, but she used that as an opening to bring it on the show. And that's nasty. Like, that's too far. That's too far. And then Robyn was the one, you know, sitting there, hearing the conversation, acting like, you know, this is the first time she heard it. And it's like, you know, that's why I was saying, you know, playing the Robyn to somebody's Batman is not going to get you far.
No,
it's not going to get you far.
Not at all. You know, she got a nice like 5-year free ride. She got to break ground on a new house. I don't know if she'll still be able to afford it after she loses this job. Like, hopefully she is, but her time is up. Her time is up. I'm just so tired of her. What does she bring, Lailah? Honestly, please tell me. Is it fashion?
Oh my God. You know it's not fashion. I don't even know why you asked me.
What is it?
She brings a casual. I'll say this. As far if you want to say fashion, it's a casual fashion. Like, it's not a high fashion. But I was researching Robyn for this video. I was on her Instagram. And when you look, you know, she has a link tree on her Instagram. And she has Juan's CASHAPP on her link tree.
Oh, yes. She did that for his birthday. But his birthday was like in October.
It's still there. She has Juan's CASHAPP. So I'm like, okay, you are not portraying wealth if you got your husband's CASHAPP as the link in your bio. Like, what is really going on?
I am so tired of us getting broke Black housewives. There are so many rich Black women out there, but we always get the broke ones. What is it? Like, you know?
Well, I think what it is the real rich ones don't want to do reality TV.
But
That's
really?
what I think. That's what I really think.
There's
If you're
so
really
many.
rich, yeah, because you don't need the money. Like Monique said, this little Bravo check, like the real rich housewives don't need the money. And let me talk about this really quick. I don't know if you've heard. This was my first time hearing today. They were like Monique's Bravo check was only like 100,000.
Oh, I would have thought she was in the 200-300s or something like that up there. Huh.
This is what I heard. So when she said that little check, that's why she said that. It's not like they were making, you know, multiple six figures, 500,000. I thought it might be, you know, up to 500,000 almost.
Yeah.
But it's not from what I read.
That's surprising to me because I know she's been on for what, like 3 years of the show. So I was like, okay, maybe like 300,000 or something like that would be reasonable. But 100,000 for Monique, especially with her being the only source of Real Housewife that you should have, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like she brought like what the show is about. A husband who lets her stay at home. She's got all these nannies, even though, you know, she's got an assistant to do, I don't know. She's running this podcast. I don't know why. Like, she was the Real Housewife. So I felt like to keep her and to kind of like elevate Potomac, they should have been paying her a lot better than that. And it's weird now knowing that she was only being paid $100,000 allegedly.
Right, allegedly.
Andy would be like, oh, Chris isn't bringing in checks like this anymore. Sir.
Right, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, that was terrible how he said that. He assumed basically, you know, there's this assumption that Black athletes or maybe even athletes in general are not good with money. They don't invest well. And once they make money, they lose it. And so he assumed that was the case with Chris, that he's not still bringing in a large income. And Monique had to let him know that, yes, he is. You know, his portfolio is doing well. And I felt like it was a microaggression from Andy.
Oh, 100%.
Talked about that. Like Monique said, the money that my husband makes, present tense. And then Andy corrected her. And it's
about my own wallet, sir.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's the correction for me. Like, how you going to correct me? This is my husband. It's my man. I know what he makes. How you going to correct me? Yes. And that's what I feel like was a microaggression. And that's one of the reasons people are kind of coming down hard on Andy for how he treated Monique and how he talks to the other Black housewives on this show.
Oh God, I'm happy to see people call him out because he's always doing stuff like this. Even like stuff like Kenya's hair. How many reunions do we need to go through Kenya's hair to feel for tracks? You know, all these other girls on Beverly Hills, New York, New Jersey, they're all wearing weaves and wigs. Yes. But for some reason, in Atlanta, we have to feel Kenya's hair every damn reunion.
Yeah, it's getting old and it's getting tired. Yeah, definitely. So you are happy to see Robyn leave.
Oh my God, I am overjoyed. She needed to go. She really needed to go. She honestly, what I don't like about like the way people describe Robyn, bye Felicia Robyn. People always go, oh, she's like the Cynthia of Potomac. She's so neutral. She's not. She's mean.
When she gets with Giselle, she's mean. It activates her mean girlness.
Yes.
She's not neutral. In my opinion, she's not neutral at all. No. Yeah, Robyn is not neutral. Maybe on her own. Maybe they're referring to Robyn in a silo, but she's always with Giselle and she's not neutral. So if this is true, if the comments that David Yontef was making in his comment section, if it's true that Robyn's gone, like he said, he's 99% sure that she's gone. If that's true, you know, it might be a good thing. I would like to see Giselle stand on her own. I would love to see it if it's possible.
I have a question for you. If this is true, how do you think it'll be announced? Because we all know that Bravo gives every housewife the opportunity to say that they walked away from the show. So do you think that Robyn is going to, you know, do one of those, oh, my Walmart silk lined hats are, you know, exploding. I'm the next skinny girl. So I need to walk away from this to build my empire. Or is she going to be like Teddy Mellencamp and be like, listen, y'all, I got fired. I'm out of here. What do you think?
I would like to see the latter, because if she says that it was her choice, it's not going to make sense, because people are going to be like, girl, you owe the IRS. Like, we already know too much of her business. And we're going to be like, the audience is going to say, you need this show. Like, it's not going to make sense. But if he is honest, like Teddy Mellencamp, and says, they didn't extend my contract, so I'm out of here, hopefully I can come back in the future, I think that would be more realistic. I think it would be a better fan response. You know what I'm saying? Because the fans are not going to go for her saying that I chose to leave. Like with Monique and Monique's wealth, you can understand her choosing to leave. Mm-hmm. With Robyn, like, she needs, if it's 100,000, whatever it is, Robyn needs it.
Exactly. I'm kind of nervous though for like where her life is going to go after this, because she's not that interesting. So I don't know like that anyone's going to follow her for Instagram like campaigns. I don't know. What do you think?
It kills me. You are very direct. Grace Report. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Grace Report on YouTube. Just type in Grace Report and her channel will come up. Very, very, very direct. And it's your opinion that she's not that interesting. I feel like she has a potential to be interesting, but she hasn't shown it on the show.
In 5 years.
Okay. All right. So let me get into some comments and what you guys are saying. Give me a second. Let me get the comments and how you guys are reacting to the news that Robyn may not be coming back to the Real Housewives of Potomac. Andrea said Giselle hyped her up. Giselle hyped her up. I don't know if you mean she hyped up Robyn. Y'all feel like Karen was just letting her know, giving her a heads up. So she wasn't hyping her up. She was just giving her a heads up. I can understand that. Valerie said, Giselle's such a bully. It's so very hard to believe that she was once and possibly will be again a first lady. How do you feel about that? Giselle Bryant as a first lady.
Here's the thing. In an ordinary church, I'd be like, this is appalling. But the fact that this is a church that Jamal Bryant and all those, cheating and whatever looks after, water kind of seeks its own level there. So I'm kind of like, okay, well, if anyone kind of follows him, then maybe this sort of behavior is acceptable to them. So I get it there.
Andrea said Chris definitely shut her down. Yeah, he was shutting down Giselle. He wasn't opening the conversation. As far as the trainer, in my opinion, he was shutting down Giselle. Mm-hmm. Nikki said she knew what it was, too messy for an ex-first lady.
I love that people call her out on that, the first lady thing. Like, this is not, and then she had the nerve to be on TV. Is this how Jamal and I reputation to protect? Girl.
Yeah. And I was on a live stream yesterday and someone in the comments had brought up when Giselle calls herself a first lady, it's not like, like a loving church lady, first lady. It's more like a class issue. Mm-hmm. Like for her being the first lady adds to her ego.
Yeah.
And it makes her feel like she's above people. It's not like she's the first lady, like you can go to her and love on her. It's not that. It's her ego.
That's a really good point. And I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Kim Grady says she put up with all that drama for 100K. Damn. She said this little check, and now it makes sense. If it's 100K, compared to their wealth, 100K is a little check to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To her, it's the exposure more than the money. She's like, it's the exposure. I get to build this podcast. I get to make money in other ways.
Right. It's marketing. Yeah. And so Yvonne said Andy was extremely disrespectful to Monique, and it was good that people put him in check.
Thank God for that, because he needed to. And I wonder if he's ever going to reflect on this. He's always very quiet when people criticize him. So I wonder if something's going to change here.
I don't know, because I feel like his brand is so entrenched, and the way he carries himself on the show. It's so entrenched with the Real Housewives of all the seasons. I don't know if he is open to changing. I feel like he would need to. The way he interacts with the women, period. And I don't watch the other shows, and some people, do you watch the other housewife shows?
I do. I watch Atlanta, Salt Lake City, Beverly Hills. I never got into New York. I don't get the hype. I try every year, but
Yeah, yeah. I've never watched New York. I have watched Beverly Hills. I've watched New Jersey.
Mhm.
But people are saying, let me ask you this. Do you see a difference in the way he talks to the black cast, RHOP and RHOA, compared to the way he talks to the majority white cast? Do you see a difference?
I think that it's mostly noticeable in the way they're handling this wig shifting thing. You know what I mean? It's like they just keep hammering it. We don't condone this. We don't condone that. Why aren't you more emotional? Like they're really hammering it on this woman. But Housewives of New Jersey was the hood, girl. Like they were going to like babies, like christenings, and like ripping off their shirts, tackling each other, and it was just like nothing happened. You know, like they were getting the ponytail yanked. Their purse contents jumped over like candles and water. Like they were doing all sorts of, throwing husbands in the pool, all sorts of things. And like it was never hammered down the way that this was. But you know what my thing is too, is that the housewives themselves of Potomac set themselves up for that in a way too.
How so? I want to say, first of all, I do agree from the clips I've seen on the show, like the other shows are violent too. And they do this disclosure or disclaimer, before they show the violence on RHOP, they say Bravo doesn't condone violence when they show black women fighting. But then I do see clips of the other shows fighting. They do fight on other shows. But how do you say the RHOP cast, you said they set themselves up?
They did. They truly did. And you know what? Not only do they freaking show these scenes of violence, they use them to promote the entire season. So they need to stop pretending they don't. But like after the fight happened, you've got Wendy like, well, this is why black women will never have a seat at the table because of this, and then you've got Giselle, and they're all acting like this is the epitome of black representation throughout this season, like in their confessionals and in their interactions with one another. So it did turn it into this whole, like, you know what I mean? Like beat down, like hunting, like let's hammer down on this because now it's a thing of representing black women when that's not the thing. There's so many black women in the world. Like these girls don't represent anybody but themselves.
Yeah, the cast of RHOP, they don't represent me. And I feel like sometimes as black people, as black women, it's so many weights on us. And I just refuse to take on the weight that if I go on reality TV, I'm representing all black women. Like we can't take that on. And I do recall Giselle saying that and Wendy saying that. And in my opinion, that's not accurate. Like, let people, if they're on reality TV, the cast of RHOP, let them represent themselves. Don't say that they're representative of the culture. Like Wendy is representing Wendy, Monique is representing Monique, Candace is representing Candace. Like they're all representing themselves as individuals. And I do think that's something that we need to get away from, saying that this person represents the entire culture and this person let the whole culture down. Like Monique did not let the whole culture down. Like that's not what it was.
Exactly. And like the other housewives have never done that after altercations, and no one has ever gone, you're making white women look bad. It's never been a thing. So I think that's part of the reason why it was handled so differently.
Yeah.
And then with this current climate of, like us talking about race a little bit more and like representation and stuff, maybe Bravo kind of felt like, okay, this is the way the black women on the show feel. So do we need to continue to hammer it down to show that we don't want to represent black women this way? You know what I mean? Like, is that kind of like a thought that they had? Maybe.
I think so. I think that's the exact thought that they had to be very sensitive in the way they presented violence among black women because of, the movement going on in this country and the spotlight on black people right now. I do think that's exactly what they felt that they needed to do.
So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. And when I watch TV, like I like on your tagline, on your channel, it says like take a break from reality and just enjoy some reality TV. Like take a break, girl. And so when I watch reality TV, that's what I'm watching for. Like I don't want to hear about what's going on in the world as far as this, the pandemic and everything going on. Like I literally just want to enjoy television. I want to be entertained.
Exactly. I honestly wish that Andy, first of all, Wendy did not get to say anything throughout any parts of this reunion, but I would have loved for them to discuss her comment about this is why black women don't get a seat at the table. It is so unfair to us as black women to have a woman so educated and so visible say that we don't deserve a seat at a table because a random chick on the Real Housewives of Potomac, a city 99% of people can't even point out on a freaking map, got into a fight. Really?
So speaking of colorism, and Robyn and Giselle calling themselves the Green-Eyed Bandits. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think, okay, because we have to be honest, it's unusual. It's like rare for Black people to have green eyes. So do you think that was kind of, what do you think about them calling themselves the Green-Eyed Bandits?
I don't mind it. And, I think this goes as well with like race being so different to us. Like, me as an African or as a Canadian or whatever, like to me, Black is Black. Biracial is biracial, then MGM is MGM. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's important to acknowledge that. So I remember in season 1, they used to fight so hard against Katie. They didn't like Katie acknowledging that she was biracial. They felt like it felt as though she didn't want to be Black. I didn't understand it. Katie kept telling them, you guys are not purely Black. I'm sorry, but you're light skin. Like, they're not even light skin. They're like pale skin almost. You know what I mean? Yeah. With like green eyes. Like, you need to acknowledge that you're not 100% Black, and they really didn't like that. I know that Robyn released her DNA results. Yeah, majority white. She's spicy white, but I understand spicy white woman, and I understand like MGM and stuff like that. But I don't understand why that can't be acknowledged.
Robyn is a spicy white woman.
I'm like, I'm sorry, sis, but like I get it, but I like to acknowledge.
I'm sorry, I've never heard her called a spicy white woman.
She was like 60-something%. Right?
Yeah, she was majority white. She was surprised and she shared it. And it turns out that Katie was right. Like, Robyn is majority white. And I do feel like it's okay for biracial people to say, I am biracial, and to identify as biracial, because it's like, you are biracial. Yes, we shouldn't, slavery is over. I feel like the one drop rule pertains to slavery and who they wanted to, keep as a slave. But I feel like that's over. Like, if you're biracial, you don't have to identify as only Black. Like, low key, if you feel like you white,
That's on the rooftop. That's your privilege.
That's how I feel. If you're a biracial person and you look white, like your social experience, like socially, people look at you as white. And if you feel like you're a white woman or a spicy white woman, I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, I feel like it goes both ways. Whatever you are, just say it.
Exactly. Just own it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Ariel said Robyn posted her DNA. She was she was majority white, 59% white and like 38% Black. And she was shocked. But I saw a tweet. I don't have the tweet here. I wish I would have captured it. But Katie tried to tell her. Katie was like, I'm light skinned because I'm biracial, but you're light skinned because your family continuously marries biracial people. Biracial people might identify as Black, but when two biracial people keep marrying and then their children also marry biracial people, like, you're still biracial. Like, it doesn't change. Like, you're still biracial. And that's what Katie was trying to tell them.
I didn't they kept really trying to like oversimplify race and stuff and like ignore the obvious, like the elephant in the room. And I didn't like it. I'm excited for a day when we can like really be open about this kind of stuff and like call a spade, versus like this catch-all, Black being a catch-all.
For those of people who are just joining us, let me just recap. Robyn has allegedly been let go from the Real Housewives of Potomac, according to sources. This is allegedly, this is a rumor report, but according to the Velvet Rope podcast, if you look in the comments of the Velvet Rope podcast, this is a podcast that interviews all of the Bravo housewives, Real Housewives of Potomac, Atlanta, New York, New Jersey. In their comments, they specifically said, their sources are saying, and they're still trying to confirm it, they're not sure that's 100% confirmed, but they think it's 99% confirmed that Robyn is gone. And they're saying that all of a sudden we're so interested in what that would look like based on how the reunion ended. Hence, it's a great casting decision that Robyn may not be returning to the Real Housewives of Potomac. She might not be coming back. And Grace does all the dance. Yeah, so that's the tea, you guys. That's the tea. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the situation with Robyn possibly not returning to the Real Housewives of Potomac. Do you think it's a good casting decision? Do you think it's not? Me and Grace seem to agree that it's a good casting decision because we want to see Giselle stand on her own, and Robyn hasn't contributed enough as a standalone housewife. Like, she hasn't done enough on her own on this show. Kim Grady said, I'm glad Robyn isn't coming back, but it sucks for her because of her IRS debt. I would love to see Candace go because I don't want to see another season of her fake tears and Kleenex and bring in 2 new people. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess they have to bring in 2 new people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's what they have to do with Monique and then Robyn.
Which I'm looking forward to. I hope more married people, because what do we have? We've got Giselle, can't keep a man. We've got Candace, who's married. We've got Karen, she's married. And is that it so far, the 3?
Wendy is also
Wendy's married.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can get her little like young, hot, single, fun shake. Oh, and I forgot about Ashley. Okay, you know what? I don't know what they're gonna do here. I'm curious because this is an interesting group. We've got like a nice age range of people. We've got young, a little bit older, middle. I wonder what we're gonna do. Kids, no kids.
I do agree with what you said about them wanting to skew younger. So I do think they're going to go a little bit younger as far as who they cast. And I do like your idea as far as, because they do need to cast someone who's on Karen's side, because Karen almost doesn't have any true allies at this point. So even if it's a younger woman that Karen is kind of mentoring, that would be great. And then we'll have to see. I mean, it might be a wild card as far as the second person. They might only add 1, but we'll have to see. But it's definitely going to be some cast shakeups, believe it or not. Like, this is surprising. Andy said the cast was perfect just a month ago, but there are going to be some cast shakeups. Monique has left the show, and now allegedly Robyn, we know 99% sure that Robyn's contract might not have been extended. And I just want to, say for the 1,000th time that this is allegedly, this is a rumor report. This is RHOP rumor. It's a rumor report, but on my channel, I only report on rumors that have some girth to them. You know what I'm saying? Like something that we can really kind of like dig into. And I feel like with this particular podcast, David Yontef and the Velvet Rope podcast, I feel like that's a podcast with, they interview all the housewives, and it's a podcast with integrity. And if he's saying it in the comments, I think that's not something to sneeze at. And I know, Grace, you said you did a blog with him recently with David Yontef.
Yes, we did a live recap of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and he had so much insider tea because he's got like the whole cast over there. We even talked about Candace from his like very famous interview with Candace where she came from for Portia. So like he's a really, really good source on all of this stuff. Yeah.
And so that's why we're citing him, because he definitely is a good source. And that's the tea, you guys. That is the tea. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the situation about Robyn allegedly being let go from the Real Housewives of Potomac. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. Is it bye Felicia for you? Is it good riddance, or are you sad to see Robyn leave the show? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. And as always, thanks for watching. And Grace, thank you so much for joining us and giving us some straight talk.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, you guys.